If I speak loud enough, will they drown it out, or it sounds like if I'm shouting?
Okay, perfect. So you ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, wait, switch to them. Just turn it on. So just switch to them, and then
See that young lady, Kaisha? Next generation. Very good.
no, not the headphone, the one beside it.
I don't know where she get the balance from, the time, the energy. She's still doing this. She's still with Daryl. She does a lot with reparations as well. I can count on her to help with reparations.
That's good.
Welcome Antigua and Barbuda. Welcome to those in the diaspora. You're joining us here live at the AUA Conference Center, where we're about to have the launch of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party Manifesto. Now, today's Manifesto launch is expected to be a very powerful and well-structured presentation and a vision about the progress and the future direction for Antigua and Barbuda. Viewers, both listening and viewing audience, can expect a dynamic program featuring speakers from critical sectors of our economy. We're looking at speeches from tourism, from housing, healthcare infrastructure, and most importantly, environment, sustainability. Of course, Prime Minister Gaston Brown and leader of the Antigua Barbuda Labour Party will also present a powerful direction towards the government's forward-looking approach to Antigua and Barbuda. So overall, today is not just the launch, it is a comprehensive outlook as to where we are and where we are headed to be. Joining me this morning is Samantha Marshall. She is the Vice Chairman of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. She is an attorney at law, a former senator, and overall a powerhouse when it comes to politics and governance in Antigua and Barbuda. Samantha, Ms. Marshall, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. And let me say good morning to everyone who may be viewing this live. And it's excellent to be here this morning. I'm excited. This is the Renaissance.
This is the Renaissance. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're on your way, continue to get here as soon as possible. It is a beautiful layout and it is done in the finest Labour Party style. Now, Ms. Marshall, every Renaissance begins with strong leadership and clear vision. What can viewers expect from today's manifesto's launch?
You know, if I know our Honorable Prime Minister and his team well, they're going to not just highlight what they've been doing and where we are now, but what are the plans for further prosperity and progress within Antigua and Barbuda. I'm excited about it because I know that we are in changing times, so to speak, and we are seeing a lot of things happening globally. But I know under the leadership of Gaston Brown and his administration that they have a steady path for us to follow. One which will ensure continued development, continued growth of our tourism product, and continued development throughout Antigua and Barbuda, not just in terms of construction development, but also in terms of what we're doing in our human resources and how we are putting education at the top.
At the forefront, indeed, indeed. Now, we have 17 candidates slated, and it is a beautiful mix of both experienced leadership and, of course, younger professionals from within society. How intentional was it to have this mix of leaders going into the election?
I think when you look at the team from since 2014, it has always been intentional to have a good mix. It gives you the opportunity of having the youth with energy, with new ideas, fresh ideas, but yet the calmness and experience of those who would have served before and who would understand a lot of the landscape in terms of economic development and social development within Antigua and Barbuda. I think this time, this mix is an exciting mix.
Indeed, indeed. So what does this blend say about the party's growth and readiness for the future?
It means that the party is continuing to grow. And I mean, when you look at the political parties within Antigua and Barbuda, you can see why we are the existing and oldest ABLP, the political party, the one with experience, the one with understanding, the one with knowledge. I think we're perfect.
Indeed, indeed. And how does this level of diversity, because we're seeing young professionals like Michael Joseph from St. John's Rural West, who is an entrepreneur, who is a pharmacist. We have persons like Kis Johnson, who is into marketing and academia. And then we have experienced professionals as well. When we look at Dr. Fillmore Benjamin, who is a renowned medical professional. What does this say about our readiness for governance and decision making?
Listen, you've taken persons from all sectors within our economy, and we're bringing these people together to really look at our economy, our national overall development, and to say, hey, these are the key strategic areas that we need to focus on. These are the policies we need to put in place. This is what we need to do to ensure that we are protecting and ensuring sustainable growth and development for Antigua and Barbuda.
Excellent. Now let's get into a little bit of politics here.
Of course.
So yes, we are here at the Manifesto launch. Our audience will, of course, comprise of persons from the business sector, from civil society, supporters, onlookers, those from academia, from a wide cross-section of society. But at the end of the day, this is an Antigua Barbuda Labour Party event. So let's talk about the events that's been happening. We see so many blitz. We see the energy across constituencies. What can Antigua and Barbuda expect leading up to April 30th?
Oh, continued energy. And I mean, this is not just driven by the candidates, you know, Angelica, this is driven by the people.
Oh, yeah,
when you look at the persons who participate in all the events, whether it's a meet and greet, whether it's a blitz, I mean, there are young people who are saying, hey, this is our time. We are planning for our future. And we have to be excited about this. Because for a long time, we keep talking about our youth being the leaders of tomorrow. Our youth are today's leaders. And they are ensuring that a clear space is carved out to ensure that they know what they want for their country.
And because we see them actively participating, what is your message to Antigua and Barbuda when it comes to voter readiness? Our centers are open, ladies and gentlemen. It is important for you to have a valid ID come April 30th. What is your message to them?
My message is, if you do not have a valid ID to vote at this time, ensure that you go out and renew your ID. I know that the centers are open, and you can go on the ABLP website to know exactly where you have to go, depending on the constituency you're in. And once that happens, you go, ensure that you renew your card. You will get your card, and ensure that on election day, the 30th of April, you go out and vote for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party and continued development and prosperity.
All right, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the AUA Conference Center, and we are preparing for the Manifesto launch of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Before we get into the launch and before we turn you on stage as to what is happening as persons are gathering, they are getting here. We're going to have a number of individuals from the Education Society. We're going to have individuals from the Business Society. We're going to have returning nationals, and we're going to hear from them as to why this country needs stability. It needs good governance. It needs the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. So stay connected with us. You're getting the information live and direct.
All right, and we finished this. You can move now, Trust.
Did you know that they won't jump every floor in Antigua?
Trust. Can she move now? She's ready. Okay.
Oh, you got it. Okay, great. Because I met with
Okay, so I'm gonna put it under here.
7 minutes.
Oh, this is thick, that's why.
It's
what?
No jacket is there.
That means it's good jacket.
White, great
Good
quality.
jacket.
Love that. Okay.
Good?
Should be good to go.
Let me know when it's time to go.
Oh, you're gonna hear what you Test it. So one, two, and I just put your stuff on your left side. The DJ's things shoulders. That's okay? Okay, sir.
You can hear me? You good? Me. Hi.
Ooh. Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, looking beautiful as per usual. Listen.
I got the memo. Yes.
Huh? Yes. How was the traffic coming out?
It was good.
It was good?
It was good. It was
Oh.
good. It was good. How are the babies?
They're a bit annoyed, to be honest.
Why? So much things you got going on.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what is this? They know that's a part of your position.
They know, but my preteen is at that needy stage as well.
They're normally at the stage where they don't want you around.
She doesn't want her sister around. But for me, it's always as well. It's the script.
Whole different monster.
Yeah.
Whole different breed. They don't even want to work for anything because everything is just given to them so instantly.
Yeah.
So they don't know the value of that. Their head is hurting them. Do I have to come in today? And this, I'm like,
And then they crave online attention and love, and they don't understand that it's not real. So this whole idea of being viral, being liked, if you post something, you're not getting attraction, it affects them, their mental health.
It affects them because there was one person who started selling T-shirts and she couldn't sell one. She has over how many millions followers, but
They don't realize it's not real. And welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, those here in Antigua and Barbuda and those in the diaspora. We're here at the AUA Conference Center where we're preparing for the launch of the ABLP's Manifesto. Now, joining me is a very beautiful, dynamic business mogul. She is a returning national. She's about to do some exciting things in Antigua and Barbuda because no renaissance is quite complete without economic growth and strong business confidence. Join me in welcoming Ms. Leslie Nesbitt. I will allow her to give a full-on overview of who she is and what she's doing here in Antigua and Barbuda because it is important that our returning national has a loud say in our development. Leslie, welcome.
I don't like talking about myself that much. Oh, goodness.
That's all right. But Leslie, tell us the name of your business and what are you about to open here in Antigua, specifically in St. Paul? I heard you open up an institute right there in St. Paul's.
Yes. So in St. Paul's, we're opening the second location. We have one currently in the U.S., and we are launching the Universal Skincare Institute.
Excellent.
The Universal Skincare Institute is not just an average skincare school. It has an intensive curriculum of over 1,000 hours. And one of the most important parts that I love and adore about the Institute is that it focuses on formulation and clinical trials. So by the time you're finished with your curriculum, you'll be able to launch your own product. So you'll be starting right out the door, ready to go with your own product.
I am so excited about that. You got to let me know off air how I can register. I know the general public is eager to know how they can register to be a part of that institution. But Leslie, as a businesswoman and most importantly, as a returning national, what excites you most about this new era of development?
Opportunity. I love the fact that there's opportunity available for the diaspora to come back and to explore. You definitely have to come back with an open mind. You definitely have to come back with patience. But as long as you're equipped with those things, then you'll do perfectly fine.
All right, then. How was it like in St. Paul's? I mean, I know
St. Paul's is country.
It's country.
But I love it. I love it. I love the people of St. Paul. They've welcomed me with open arms. It's a bit quiet, different from New York City. I'm right in Midtown in New York City, so you know, through my doors, I probably have about 500 people that pass every minute. So it's a bit slow in St. Paul, but I like the fact that I'm able to take it easy.
Excellent. Now, as a returning national and of course as a businesswoman, how do you find accessing the current environment for doing business in Antigua and Barbuda?
I think the current environment is growing, and I love the fact that I'm in a position where I can grow with the current environment. We have access to all of the things that we have in the U.S. So I actually have a business still going in the U.S. and I'm running the business from here. So you don't have to stop doing business wherever you are. I'm still able to operate my business in the U.S. here as well. So having the accessibility, having the access. Also, I'm proud to say that I was invited by Minister Chet Green. So he gave me a large platform in order to launch Universal Skincare Institute and Strawberry.
Nice, nice, nice. We're going to get into a bit more of that. Now, how important is it? Because I know we have a number of persons in the diaspora who is tuning in, who wants to be here, who's probably coming home for the elections.
Right.
But before then, they are listening and paying keen attention as to what's happening. But how important is it for nationals abroad to feel confident about returning home to invest and to contribute to our development?
Well, there's many ways to do so, and I encourage all those in the diaspora to contribute somehow. You contribute with donations, of course, we're always needed. You can contribute with your talent, like myself, or you can contribute by moving here and getting some type of property and adding to the collection that we need, because we definitely need more people here. The more people here, the more we build families here, the more we're able to expand and do so many things. Antigua right now has a very small population, so we have so much room to grow.
Exactly, exactly. And that goes to my next question. I mean, we have seen major growth in housing, in tourism. I know you would see that based on where you live in St. Paul, and infrastructure. So how does that impact business, especially when you're coming back home?
Well, there's a lot of growth. So it's very important to know that there's a lot of growth and growth opportunities. There's a lot of tourists that are still coming through. Just last night I was at the hut and it was packed. So there's a lot of tourism that's going on. There's a lot of infrastructure that is building. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunity. So I encourage the diaspora to come back to Antigua and lend us your talent. That's why I'm here.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of politics with everyone who joins us today. And I must say, I love your red dress. For those who are watching, I'm sure
we're keeping it green in St. Paul's.
You're keeping it green in St. Paul's, but at the same time, you're red and ready.
Yes.
So I want to hear your perspective. I know you came back home just before the buzz of the election. So this is your first time, I'm sure in decades, you would have been exposed to this level of campaigning and everything.
Never.
You've never known?
Never.
What has this been like for you?
It's exciting. It's exciting to see the enthusiasm of the people. It's exciting that so many people are coming up to me because I got thrown into the campaign, and also just lending their support. So it's very, very, very exciting to be here in the mix of the campaign and what's going on.
Leslie, I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning. I want to thank you for accepting the invitation to join us at this Manifesto launch. I know it is of particular interest to you as a business person just to have first-hand information on the plans that this administration has for business, for growth, and for development here in Antigua and Barbuda. So thank you again, and all the best in all of your endeavors. Yes. Antigua and Barbuda is excited to know more, to learn more, and to be a part of the movement that you're bringing.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
No problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the AUA Conference Center. We are still preparing to go live with the manifesto launch of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. We have a number of persons from the business sector. We have someone who has a beautiful story about education and their educational journey as well. A lot of it you will see firsthand in the manifesto, and you will hear more when our leaders take the platform to explain their plans, their vision for the future. So stay tuned. His number? He's the operations manager. If you're a missed call, I wonder if it's on
Good, good.
They say they can hear a lot of the chatter in the background. They say persons are messaging saying they can hear a lot of the chatter in the background. Okay. All right, and welcome back. Now, as we continue the conversation about Renaissance, we now turn to the backbone of our economy, that being our small businesses, our mid-sized businesses, our entrepreneurs, those risk takers who invested in our economy. And joining me is Mr. Calbert Francis. There are so many accolades I can attribute to his name. He is an entrepreneur, a mass band owner. Of course, that's going to be my thing. I'm going to jump on. And he is the owner, and he is the guru behind one of the best-selling pepper sauce in Antigua and Barbuda and across the world, because his exports is crazy. And of course, he's also leading the marketing and distribution for our indigenous beer. That is the Long Bay beer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Calbert Francis. Calbert, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. I hope my accolades and my introduction about you wasn't too long, but was I correct in almost everything I noted?
Yes, very correct.
Excellent. No, let's get into the meat of the matter. We often hear that stability for business is crucial. It's critical. Why is it so important for entrepreneurs and investors to ensure that we have a stable government in today's economy?
Well, stability grants entrepreneurs and investors certain luxuries, like the luxury to plan, the luxury to grow, and also the luxury to evolve and expand. And with having a stable economy where the planning is concerned, you can then forecast over a certain period of time where you can say, well, I need to have a certain amount of inventory, with the confidence knowing that you will get that inventory off. And then you can, revenue that you gain, you can then reinvest it into the business. And that's where the growth comes in, right? So then with the growth, it is all about, again, the economy being so stable, people have more disposable income. And with them having that disposable income, they're then able to patronize a lot of the indigenous entrepreneurs and the investors. And so as their needs grow, that's where the evolution comes in. They need, there's an avenue now for you to satisfy their needs because their needs are changing.
Right.
But then because you have the confidence in the stability of the economy, you can then take another risk to provide the growing needs for the consumer.
Definitely. So we know that stability is important. Specifically, how has government programs or incentives like the EDP, that is the Entrepreneurial Development Program under the Prime Minister's purview, how has that impacted small and medium-sized businesses?
Well, financing is always a challenge for small and medium businesses because, you know, you don't have that startup capital. And a lot of entrepreneurs, we have dreams, but we don't have the means.
Right.
And so with the EDP, with the Entrepreneur Development Program or fund, we are able now to access financing at basically minimal interest rates.
That is correct.
And that allows you now to put your business on solid footing so that you can concentrate on what you really need to grow the business.
Yeah.
You know, because financing is always an issue. And once you're thinking about financing, it takes away from you actually developing.
The creativeness of your development, and you heard that. So there is the EDP. The EDP has been around for a while now. It is the brainchild of the Prime Minister because he sees the value of assisting small entrepreneurs to get them where they need to be. And there's so many success stories of persons who would have accessed finances through the EDP, those who may not be able to access it through traditional banking or traditional financial institutions. They can access it, and not just the financing, but also the technical skills needed, creating your business plan, how to develop your forecasting, the training and techniques needed for successful business, like your businesses as an example, to go forward. Now, have you seen a shift in confidence among entrepreneurs over the past few years?
Well, most definitely. So a lot of entrepreneurs, their businesses started out as side hustles. Like for me, Granny Annie was a side hustle. And I wouldn't really say it was a side hustle. It was a project that I did on the side, basically to honor my grandmother. But then, as again, the stability that you're seeing inside of the economy, a lot of people's side hustle, right, for want of better words, has become their main source of income.
That's true.
And so you're seeing a lot of people leaving the traditional workplace and they're now opening businesses, right? So that's itself, that speaks for itself in terms of the confidence in people now venturing out, right? And starting their own business. I for one, I left my 9 to 5, right? So I'm a perfect example. And so Granny Annie is, again, you know, like a staple.
It is.
And you know, we're looking to expand into international markets. We're already in the US. We're now venturing into Canada in the next couple of months.
Nice.
And then by the end of this year, I'm going to be regional. And all of that, again, comes from the confidence.
The confidence.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you say that it is a staple. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was traveling with my family and we were at dinner. And there comes one of my family members pulling out the pepper sauce. And I'm like, where did you get that from? And they were like, I don't go anywhere without my Granny Ann pepper sauce. So again, congratulations on that business. Now, is that a clear indicator? All of these small businesses that are opening, these small businesses that are accessing the EDP, that are now storefront. We see a lot of storefront operations. We see a lot of expansion of local indigenous businesses. Is that a clear indicator of a growing economy?
Of course it is. I think that is kind of like a no-brainer, because even if you're not in town or driving around, just scouring through social media, you're seeing all these local businesses pop up. And when you look at the quality of what they're doing, you have to do a double take, like, this is really Antigua.
Antigua, right?
This is really Antigua, you know? So Again, it is quite evident that the economy is doing extremely well, right? The economy is doing extremely well, and entrepreneurs have no issues right now in taking that risk and venturing out.
Listen, Mr. Francis Calbert, I want to thank you so much. This is a shameless plug-in. He is also the owner of the best band, the #1 band, the winner of Bands last year, that is Sections Der Band. Also a clear indicator that the economy is growing because
Yes.
he's almost sold out. So if you haven't got your packages yet, be sure to check out Sections Der Band. Calbert, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
joining
so
us.
much.
I know you're excited to see the manifesto
Yes, I am.
and the things that will impact you most as a business owner. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining us
It was a
and
pleasure.
enjoy this
All right.
morning's proceedings. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. We are still here. We are here at the AUA Conference Center. We are preparing for the launch of the manifesto, that is the Antiguans Barbudans Labour Party manifesto, and it will cover a wide set of issues, from education to the environment to infrastructure to business to the economy, the things that matters most and things that will affect you. So stay tuned for much, much more.
My friends, we all feel it at the store. Thanks to God above, it is peaceful here. But the wars and chaos around the world means higher prices and an uncertain future. The world is entering a new era, and so is Antigua and Barbuda. On election day, you must ask yourselves, which leader and team is strong enough, steady enough to see our country through? We offer a renaissance in changing times. We repealed the personal income tax, increased the minimum wage, increased public sector wages, increased social security and occupational pensions to put more money into your pockets. We expanded the food voucher program, expanded the zero-rated ABST on essential foods, and rolled out affordable broadband. We are literally building new hotels. We expanded the reverse osmosis plants to provide more water. And we have ongoing roadworks that are taking place in every single constituency. As I said before, the world is entering a new era, and there's a renaissance in Antigua and Barbuda. On election day, do not take a risk on a leader and a team that's just not ready. Let's keep Antigua and Barbuda in strong and safe hands.
Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP. Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
We're here at the AUA Conference Center preparing for the launch of the ABLP's manifesto, and we would have had conversations with persons from the business community. We had conversations with returning nationals who are very important in the dialogue about the future of Antigua and Barbuda. But true renaissance is really built on opportunity, and opportunities and education is where the transformation of those opportunities begin. I am here with the beautiful Miss Jessica Jackson, and Jessica has a beautiful story about how opportunities through education can transform lives. Through this administration, we have had a series of programs to help those to get a second chance in life. We had programs like the YEEP. We have programs like the scholarships that are given out through this administration. We give opportunities to everyone who need it. And I have here again with me Miss Jessica Jackson, and Jessica's journey through the Second Chance program to university, where she is right now, is a powerful testimony as to the investment that this government, your government, has made in the lives of people of Antigua and Barbuda. Miss Jessica Jackson, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, I told you that whenever I see you or I hear about you, I feel to get so emotional because I've seen your journey, but I want you to tell Antigua and Barbuda, explain to them, can you share with them your journey through the Second Chance program?
Well, for me, it started when I saw a post and then I realized the classes were free. So I enrolled. I started with 4 CXCs, then I did a CAPE and another CXC, and then I did another 2 units of CAPE, and there I was successful. I got grade 1s and 2s.
Nice.
Then I said, you know what, the buck doesn't stop there. So I decided to say, let me try something. I got into state college, but my workplace didn't allow me to go in the morning because I have small children, so I think that, in the morning would be better for me,
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get in, so I tried hotel training school. I got in and I studied tourism management there. And, it was getting boring for me because I think I don't know what happened when I went to YEEP, but I think I became a junkie for education. I just wanted to go and go.
Go and go. I love
and
that.
When you see all these opportunities, you don't even know which one to choose because there's so many opportunities in terms of education for young people out there. You understand? And I know, for me, this is what Renaissance is. This is a new era. It not only helps you to transition from, because that opportunity, that one opportunity where I started my journey first, I wasn't able to get established because I'm an established officer. I got to upgrade with my position, salary. I got to act in higher positions. So
go ahead. You can speak up.
Yeah. So for me, it was a big. It was a big. It was different for me and the transition and everything.
So you're saying through YEEP 1, then through ABHTI, you were able in the course of 10 years or less than 10 years to upgrade yourself through this level of professional development to where you are today. Can you tell Antigua and Barbuda where you are enrolled today and what you're studying?
Well, presently I'm enrolled at the University of the West Indies 5 Islands campus, where I am actually studying human resource management, as I have worked at the Labor Department for the past 20 years. First, I was a labor inspector. After I went to YEEP, I applied for a position, got to upgrade, so now I am a labor officer too, in stats.
Excellent. So Jessica, what does this new era mean to persons who probably thought education passed them by and they didn't have the opportunities of the past?
For me, the opportunities that have been created is just persons have to capitalize on that because it's very good. Because remember, if you need me to say more, at YEEP, you don't pay for your subjects.
YEEP is free.
It's free, and the government pays for the subjects.
The government pays for the CXC subjects.
The only thing I think you pay is just $100 registration, versus if you were going to another private institution, you'd be paying like every term a fee to be enrolled.
And to be clear, you started YEEP in what year?
2018.
So you started YEEP in 2018. You accessed free education at the CXC and a CAPE level. Then you went on to ABHTI. And now, in 2026, you are at the University of the West Indies 5 Islands campus.
Yes, under the Prime Minister's Scholarship.
So you're on a scholarship as well?
Yes.
Jessica, again, every time I think about your story, I get emotional because I know that there are individuals that, for whatever reason, they don't have the opportunity to finish school. They don't have the opportunity to access the type of assistance they needed when we were younger. And now we're able to get it today. What do you think education has impacted you most? In what area of your life you think education has impacted you most?
I I think with my personal development and my work life, because I'm exposed to different things now. I get different opportunities, and financially, because I make more money. I make more money, and then when I act, I make a little bit more. So yes.
So because of education.
And now I'm looking forward to. Well, I've started the process of getting my own home because so.
Excellent. So education, personal development, upgrade at work, and now you're seeking to become a homeowner as well.
Yes.
That is Renaissance.
That it is.
That is Renaissance, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Jessica, because you have such a personal and impactful story, what can you say to someone considering, especially persons who are already in the world of work, for persons who would have missed out when they were younger? What would you say to someone considering taking the Second Chance program?
I think if they're willing to make a lot of you have to be committed and dedicated, because it's not easy to juggle your personal life, work life, and having to deal with children. So you have to be committed, because if you're not committed and resilient, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
But this, your past doesn't determine your future. And for anybody that would like to enroll in the program, it's a really good program. And it's just about going to do the CXC. You have persons, dedicated teachers who are there. They're more like mentors. They assist you if you have a problem. Because I've been at Yibra time, one of my classmates was having some financial difficulties, and everybody pulled together and they gave her a package and some money. So you see, it's not just about, it's like a family.
Mm-hmm. That's what the YEEP offers.
Yes.
A remarkable story indeed. Now, Jessica, again, congratulations. We're just going to get into a little bit of politics, not too much politics, because I know where you work and I know I don't want to put you in any particular position. But how important is it for persons to come out and vote on April 30th?
Well, I was sitting there waiting to be interviewed, and I'm saying, I think my transition started when the present government took office. And I'm saying, imagine what my life would have been if I wasn't exposed to these opportunities, if the present government was not in power.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's very critical for persons, because it's not about you, it's about the future.
Your children.
Yes. So when you think about that, everybody wants the best for their children. So I think persons need to get out there, make sure they're re-registered, make sure their name is on the list, so we can do what we need to do to see the Renaissance and the new era.
Jessica, thank you so much. Let me hold your hands again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you. I know there's so many persons out there like Jessica who would have benefited significantly from the Second Chance program, from all of the initiatives that this administration has brought to Antigua and Barbuda in the almost a little over 10 years they have been in power. We have heard about YEEP. They're offering classes that are absolutely free. They have been covering the cost for CXC since its inception. They have been covering the cost for CAPE. They are allowing citizens to access education, and that education can transform lives. Stay with us. We're here at the AUA Conference Center, and we're getting ready for the launch of the ABLP's Manifesto. We've heard from persons in the business sector. We have heard from returning nationals. We have heard from persons who are living testimonies of what the Renaissance is all about. Next up, we're going to hear from the most critical sector of our economy, and that is tourism. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP. Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP. Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP. Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
And welcome back again. We are here at the AUA Conference Center. We're getting ready for the ABLP's Manifesto launch, where we will see a program of dynamic speakers, keynote speakers from the education sector. We're going to hear from the Prime Minister himself, and we're going to hear about tourism. And that is why I am excited for our next guest, because tourism remains the critical engine for our economy and one of the clearest examples of Renaissance in action. Joining me today is Mr. Raul Reynolds. He is the operations manager at Antigua Cruise Port, the cruise port that we see transforming St. John's, transforming the cruise industry here in Antigua and Barbuda. Mr. Reynolds, welcome on set. Welcome to the Renaissance.
Well, again, good morning and welcome to your audience. Definitely, it's good to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Raul, I know you've been in the tourism sector for a very long time. I know you've been involved in different stages and places when it comes to the tourism sector in Antigua and Barbuda. But we've also been hearing a lot about the upland development. How will that really change or impact the cruise industry?
Okay, well, again, that plays right into the tune, the theme of the Renaissance in today's present day and age. This is actually a game changer for the whole idea of cruise tourism in Antigua and Barbuda. As I'm sure you can recall as to when at one time we had Heritage Key being built and everything, and over time Heritage Key has actually its age and everything, and so now, right now, is the rebirth, the renaissance of the upcoming the cruise sector. And as we will now see a total change, a retransformation of everything, including for the sector. The development now brings a difference, something to, how should I put, to enlift what is happening cruise sector-wise. They give the option, the guests the option of adding value, and so it's now a combination of entertainment and shopping and the foodies and everything, and so now that has definitely changed what tourism, the cruise tourism, has always been about.
You know, and that goes right into my next question. I mean, how has the growth of the cruise tourism translated into opportunities for local vendors, for taxi operators, and small businesses around St. John's?
Okay, now one of the advantage and the great things about cruise tourism is that the wide cross-section of people it impacts. Now, you find it's not just shop owners. You have to do with a lot of the vendors, the taxi drivers, and of course the transportation sector is the largest part of the cruise sector, right? And there in which you find more locals and everything enjoy the benefit from there even more than ever before. And as you rightly says, in reference to the growth of it, as to how it spills off, for example, you find now on a cruise ship day, everybody congregate into that sector. Why? Because of the mass increase that's been happening continuously in reference to the growth of cruise tourism in Antigua.
To put this in real numbers, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, so let's talk about numbers here. Now, I know the cruise season starts at about October, November, and ends perhaps next month, next month. What are the figures looking like thus far? Okay, well, so far, basically, let's take a step back here. For the last, I'll say about from 2019 onwards, we've seen a growth of an average of between 8 to 12% on the annual in reference to cruise tourism, in reference to vessels and passengers. That number is continuously being
creeping upwards continuously, and through adding more value, more benefits and everything for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And continuously we can see going into the future as to what it's going to be looking like. For example, right now, we are actually taking at roughly over just about 840,000 passengers for the time period for the cruise sector season so far.
So far, 800,000, over 800,000
plus, right? And that is significant growth compared to what it has been for the last few years. Again, as I said, it has been ticking upwards of increasing of over 8 to 10%. Now, with the advent of that as well too, comes home porting, in which Antigua is now becoming one of the strongest growing players in the East area when it comes to home porting because of the demand again. And of course, our strategic location and everything and so that is working very well for us.
I am so glad you mentioned home porting because it's a new sector and we are seemingly very good at it because no one hearing about increased calls because of the home porting operations. How transformative has that been for our cruise industry stakeholders? And I'm talking about the employment opportunities that have now been created because of home porting. What are some of the areas that you see that are now growing from that?
Okay, now that's so important and interesting, and one of the most exciting thing about the cruise sector in Antigua. Unlike before, where everybody thought that cruise definitely had a great impact on the overall economy and people, home porting adds even more and for far-reaching impact on other individuals, because now you have the airports are now directly involved. You find additional airlifts. You find now more movement of goods and service and everything that's coming through. You have accommodation aspect increases. You find so many different things happening all at once during the home porting season. It's actually, the only bad thing is it does create a little havoc more on the traffic, but guess what? You can't, but this is how it is. It's all good, right? And so that has definitely a lot of things.
It's an indicator that something is happening. I mean, we know when on home porting days, for me, I stay clear of town on home porting days. But at the same time, it is such a joy to see all the taxi operators. We see the coaster buses very professionally as well, you know, transporting passengers from the airport to the cruise port and back.
Yes. Now, as a matter of fact, and I'll take this opportunity now to actually invite the public as well for this summer when we have the Cruise Connect. Don't have the exact date, in which we will then be revealing the actual numbers and things to come as to what is going to happen and how it's going to impact the cruise sector in Antigua and throughout the Caribbean. Antigua, this new development of the home port the upland development, including the building of the terminal, which is now completed, and everything, that's happening. What you find so happening is that Antigua strategically has been readjusted, or basically, as I said, the renaissance, the rebirth, and that plays in so well with the theme of this year's the Manifesto release and everything.
Excellent, and we see that. We see it every day. Earlier this year in January, as a matter of fact, January 23rd, they had the opening of the cruise terminal. That in itself was transformational to see what an actual cruise indoor, everything is just there, the processing of passengers, the processing of luggage, the security that went into it. We saw that opening, so that wasn't just something that is to come. It has happened because we are results oriented, and I know you guys are vigorously working on the upland development, where I'm hearing about a major pool activities. I'm hearing about all of the shops and kiosks. Can you walk us through that and where we are right now?
Okay, well, I'll give you a little information on what I can, because that aspect is a little outside of my purview, but because I mostly deal with the cruise sector part of it. But however, just to let you know, that is all about entertaining and adding value to a cruise sector. We have the pool a day club types spa set up, and so which is basically to add overall the passenger experience while in Antigua, something to take away from as to what you think of Antigua and its destination. Again, because the cruise sector, and it's like one of those areas that have the greatest impact on the island, is from the passengers. You're talking about when you have over 850 going on passengers coming to your door, they are exporting experiences. and these can also be retransformed into visitor stay over. So it's not like every little thing that we do, and the more individuals we get involved, including, for example, some of the stakeholders like tour operators and all these other people, for them to be on the P's and Q's of ensuring that we protect what we have. There's only one Antigua, and we all need to find a way to make sure that we can do our best regarding to that.
That is so true. Yeah. I know it has been the mandate of the Minister of Tourism, by extension the Prime Minister, that the upland development and development of our cruise industry must be Antiguan, in that indigenous business owners, young entrepreneurs, our craftsmen, our entertainers must be a big factor in that. and I would have seen Antigua Cruise Port put out a call to tender for our young entrepreneurs and for entrepreneurs on a whole to submit applications. I now see that they're also asking Antigua and Barbudans to perhaps name or suggest names for the cruise port. So I must say that is something that's quite exciting. I know the population is very appreciative of that. But in your opinion, what excites you most about the future of tourism and cruise tourism for Antigua and Barbuda?
Okay, it's the future. Just think of what is to come is what that excites me most. Because I've seen in basically for the last, how many years I've been in tourism, different things happening and so, and for the last, I'll say 10 years, there's been transformational change in reference to every year continuously along the line of the tourism sector. We are the cruise part of it in reference to what is happening and in reference to how it benefits our people, as you rightfully says, and who are the ones who are benefiting most is mostly Antiguans and most as well the Caribbean. Because one of the things I can honestly tell you and I see and notice is that our population growth is not, we don't have enough people sometimes in Antigua to help sustain what is happening. So you find because we're such a how should I put it, the most cosmopolitan of all the islands, and so we have an influx of people from throughout the Caribbean, our brothers and sisters, who are big and help to contribute to our tourism sector. But yet still Antiguans, the indigenous individuals, are the greater opportunity, had the greater opportunities and are benefiting significantly as to what is happening. The redevelopment of their own entrepreneurial way of doing tours and excursions and so is what we are encouraging, because these are some of the things that we can do. We are not a manufacturing destination. We are more service oriented. So the more we can encourage other individuals to do some of these, the better off it is for us. And we have seen that, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And in reference to this new way, the new development for this Renaissance period, it's perfect and ideal.
Excellent, excellent. You heard it here first. Tourism is in a renaissance. We have started some amazing opportunities here in the tourism sector, and we're moving into the new era of progress and development, especially in the tourism sector. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. For the tourism season, for the cruise season thus far, we have had a little over 800,000 passengers. That is hundreds of cruise calls. You're talking about the home porting operations. And you know what the most exciting thing about this as well? You and I, we can also be a part of this. We see Antiguans who are taking their very first cruise by just driving down to Heritage Key and going on the cruise ship. This is what the Renaissance is all about. I want to thank Mr. Reynolds for joining us today. He has brought some fascinating information, and we are about to hear more from the stakeholders who are part and parcel of this movement that's happening in the most critical sector of our economy. So stay tuned, lots more to talk about.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunities ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP. Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunities ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk. On April 30th, vote ABLP.
Moving on now to the UE5 Islands campus, because you've also been involved in the UE5 Islands campus expansion project, which is not just an educational investment, but also an important infrastructural development as well. How does sustainability influence a project of this scale?
So sustainability, again, for the listeners, encompasses on the three things I mentioned: the economy, the society, and the environment.
And welcome back. Again, we are here at the AUA Conference Center where we are preparing for a dynamic launch. That's right, the launch of the ABLP's Manifesto. We have the entire stakeholder community here. We have persons from the business sector. We have persons from civil society. We have persons from academia. We have supporters as well. We have citizens of Antigua and Barbuda who are interested to hear what Prime Minister Gaston Brown has planned for the future. I want to welcome everyone, our viewing and listening audience, especially those in the diaspora, and welcome for joining us. We have been speaking to persons from the business sector. We have spoken to persons who have personal testimonies about educational opportunities, and we have spoken to persons within the cruise industry. And if we're talking about tourism, the most important catalyst of our economy, we must look at the persons and speak to the persons at the helm of this, who is the driver of this important economy, and that is none other than Mr. Colin James, the CEO of the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority, an award-winning organization, an organization that employs so many young and brilliant Antiguans and Barbudans across the world, not just here, but across the world. Mr. James, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. Now, I gave that introduction because it is true. The Tourism Authority has just been collecting awards and accolades for the work that you consistently do. How it is that you're able to work so diligently across board? I mean, I know we have offices in New York, in Canada, in the UK. Yeah. What is that like?
I think it's harnessing the talent that we have. We have a tremendous, Angelica, group of talented young Antiguans and Barbudans who love their country, number one, and who really want to put their best foot forward in tourism. They work well unsupervised. They just get their objectives. They know what they need to deliver on, and they do it. And they do it very well. And because of that, we have won countless awards. Minister Fernandez was awarded the Best Caribbean Minister by Caribbean Journal a few years ago. The Antiguan Barbuda Tourist Board just last year was recognized as the best tourist board within the entire Caribbean. And again, these awards don't come from ourselves. They come from our peers when they look at what we have contributed, what we have done. And so we continue to make sure that we have the very best people. We continue to make sure that they're empowered, number one, and that they have the resources, Angelica, to do what they need to do. And you know what? When we unleash that talent, they just deliver. And so I'm particularly proud to lead the team. I'm particularly thankful and grateful for the support that I have from our board and from our minister, who's always center and front, leading the team, leading the charge, and really positioning us to take advantage of every opportunity that we bring to this country to grow our tourism. And you're seeing the results for themselves. They speak for themselves. You know, I just returned from Sea Trade, the major cruise convention in the world, the largest one, last week in Miami, and the news and the feedback and the confidence that we got from our cruise line partners has just been phenomenal. You know, everybody's pleased with Antigua and Barbuda, how things are going, the feedback from their guests. I'll give you a classic example. MSC Cruises, which is one of the largest cruise lines in the world, this season had 12 calls. For the season coming up, 26-27 is going up to 41 calls. That's the type of growth
41 calls?
41 calls. That's
to Antigua?
To Antigua.
Wow.
And even more spectacular, their largest ship now, the Explorer, that's coming to the Caribbean, which brings over 5,000 passengers on the 7th of December this year. The Explorer will be making its maiden call to Antigua, and out of that 41 calls, 13 belong to the Explorer. So it's excellent news all around. We're seeing the growth. We're seeing how that translates into opportunities for young Antiguans and Barbudans, and we're particularly pleased that we have, as a tourism authority, been able to leverage those relationships, build on them so that they can deliver for the destination.
I mean, that's some amazing news, and thank you so much for breaking it with me first. I feel very privileged. You're hearing that. 41 calls from MSC. So excited. Now, you have spoken about where we are right now. Comparatively, how has our tourism sector grown within the last 10 to 12 years?
I think by leaps and bounds. The first thing, we have seen new product Common Island. We have seen new resorts opening up. We have seen enhancement to the industry, for example, the new airport in Barbuda, which allows more private jets to fly into Barbuda. The Nobu restaurant, which is really positioning Barbuda as the new St. Bart's for the Caribbean. And we've also seen here on the mainland the expansion of a lot of our properties with additional rooms. We've seen that at Tamarind Hills. We've seen it at Heritage Bay, just really adding to that product. And Antigua is known for a mid to the up end of the market, which is really recession proof, which really helps us to keep the cachet of the destination high. And that's what you've seen across the board. We've seen a total refurbishment of the Hawksbill Resort, over 100 rooms there. And again, Jolly Beach being reopened as well has really ensured that we have a good product to sell. And once we have a good product to sell, Antiguans Barbudans has been known to take advantage of that. And so what I've seen as well over the years is the growth in airlift. We have seen after the pandemic, we lost a lot of service, a lot of flights, and the Tourism Authority went on a mission to meet every airline partner and to lobby and to do what we needed to do to get our flights restored. And I'm pleased to say that we're almost back to pre-pandemic levels. We have our Condor flight back now, which is doing remarkably well. When we started that Condor flight from Germany, we were taking about 19% of the plane. It's shared between Antigua and Dominican Republic. The last count that I've heard, we're up to about 40% of that flight now.
Oh, wow.
Those customers. And the good thing, the customers who come out in Antigua and Barbuda are the business class, the first class passengers, which again is the value, the high end. That's what we need. And so we have seen growth in airlift. We have seen Sunrise, Inter-Caribbean, all these smaller airlines come on board and really help us to improve the access and the ability to get to Antigua effortlessly, and that has really helped our tourism. You've always heard me say, have plane, we'll travel. Once we can get the flights, we will get the business and get the customers to come.
Definitely. So we have heard of airlift. We've heard about the cruise tourism. We've heard about the stayovers. Now, I know you have been, and through the Ministry of Tourism, through the Minister of Tourism, we would have sought to diversify our tourism market. Now we have something called MICE. This seems to be a big
and this
thing.
conference center is exactly suited to that. The AUA Conference Center, since we hosted those large conferences at the Small Island Developing States, and most importantly last year, Caribbean and Hotel Tourist Association Marketplace Conference, we have marketed this facility, and it has helped us now to track the group business, which really helps to take us through the summer season and the shoulder period. We have major conferences this year. The Caribbean Marketplace again is returning to Antigua and Barbuda. We have the Chugum in November, and so it's all systems go. We are going after the group business, and we're going after it in a meaningful and a big way, because it helps to take us through those shoulder periods when normally the winter travel, the leisure travel tends to be a little softer. So again, I think good news for Antigua and Barbuda, a strong season this year and shaping up to even a stronger one next year.
So on the point of diversification, so we have MICE. We also have sports tourism. We would have seen all of these international matches coming to Antigua, like CPL. What is that? How impactful has that been to our tourism
That
product?
has been very impactful, Angelica, particularly in the regional tourism, where we have seen flights coming in from the neighboring islands with the regional airlift, but also pulling people in, not just for the sports and the different events that we have, but also for our carnival, for other activities that we have throughout the year, again, to make sure that Antigua's regional travel remains strong. And that's something we're particularly proud about. I mean, we're up to over 30,000 visitors arriving from the Caribbean region into Antigua, with new added facilities like ArriveAntigua.com, where we have gone totally paperless. All those things have enhanced our reputation and enhanced the destination's appeal. When we had that major tourism conference here yesterday, last year, everybody was blown away by just a paperless system, efficient, quickly processing our visitors, because once you get that first experience right, you really have nailed it, and that sets up the guests to have a great vacation experience in Antigua and Barbuda.
And finally, one last question. And in 1 minute, what are you most excited about when it comes to tourism, the new era of tourism for Antigua and Barbuda?
I'm particularly excited that a lot of young entrepreneurial Antiguans now have an opportunity to get to the commanding heights in this industry. Whether they're building apartments, Airbnbs, they're starting tours and excursions, they've really decided to jump in and really take advantage of all these opportunities with these increased visitors to the island to really get a firm foothold in the industry and for their little business to prosper and to grow. So that I think it's a great legacy. That's something that I love to see, and it means that Antiguans and Barbudans are now benefiting in a tremendous way from all the progress that we've seen in the tourism sector.
Listen, thank you so much for joining me this morning, Colin. I particularly am so excited for everything that's happening in the tourism sector. I know Restaurant Week.
Absolutely.
I'm a foodie, so I know I'm so excited for Restaurant Week that's coming up just now. And I'm excited for Antiguans and Barbudans to be a part of the product that we can call our own.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and enjoy the lodge. Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare to turn your attention on stage. That's right, we are still here at the AUA Conference Center. We are preparing for the launch of the manifestos, and viewers listening and viewing audience can expect a dynamic program featuring key speakers from the critical aspects of our economy. Talking about the growth and the success of our economy, there will be a strong focus on tourism as the main economic driver and engine of our economy, alongside major advancements in housing, in education, in infrastructure, and of course, sustainable environment. Importantly, Prime Minister Brown will outline the government's plan and future for the vision of Antigua and Barbuda. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Antigua and Barbuda, those in the diaspora, welcome to the Renaissance, an era of progress and development. Stay tuned for much, much more. Thanks again.
Moving on now to the UE 5 Islands campus, because you've also been involved in the UE 5 Islands campus expansion project, which is not just an educational investment, but also an important infrastructural development as well. How does sustainability influence a project of this scale?
So sustainability, again, for the listeners, encompasses on the three things I mentioned: the economy, the society, and the environment. In particular, the economy and the society have a more important role, is going to benefit tremendously from the establishment of the UE 5 Islands expansion project. What we are looking at now is phase one of a three-phase project implementation, and it is massive.
My friends, we all feel it at the store. Thanks to God above, it is peaceful here, but the wars and chaos around the world means higher prices and an uncertain future. The world is entering a new era, and so is Antigua and Barbuda. On election day, you must ask yourselves, which leader and team is strong enough, steady enough to see our country through? We offer a renaissance in changing times. We repealed the personal income tax, increased the minimum wage, increased public sector wages, increased social security and occupational pensions to put more money into your pockets. We expanded the food voucher program, expanded the zero-rated ABST on essential foods, and rolled out affordable broadband. We are literally building new hotels. We expanded the reverse osmosis plants to provide more water. And we have ongoing roadworks that are taking place in every single constituency. As I said before, the world is entering a new era, and there's a renaissance in Antigua and Barbuda. On election day, do not take a risk on a leader and a team that's just not ready. Let's keep Antigua and Barbuda in strong and safe hands.
Moving on now to the UE 5 Islands campus, because you've also been involved in the UE 5 Islands campus expansion project, which is not just an educational investment, but also an important infrastructural development as well. How does sustainability influence a project of this scale?
So sustainability, again, for the listeners, encompasses on the three things I mentioned: the economy, the society, and the environment. In particular, the economy and the society have a more important role, is going to benefit tremendously from the establishment of the UE5 Islands expansion project. What we are looking at now is phase 1 of a 3-phase project implementation, and it is massive.
And to you, what does that say about Antigua's long-term vision for education?
I think we're on the right track in terms of education and having a campus, a Fort Lander campus of the University of West Indies here. The education and the growth of education is then going to force us to sit at the table to think about how we're going to develop on the wider scale for the long term. And when you have a population that's highly educated, you can then leverage that population to grow the country.
Did you know that there are more jobs and opportunity ever before in Antigua and Barbuda?
The UE5 island was built and expanded.
Over 2,000 affordable homes built.
Over 4,000 new jobs since last year and 11,000 new jobs since 2014. Higher minimum wage.
More small business.
Things are not perfect anywhere. These wars cause prices to go up everywhere.
Now is not the time to take a risk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for us today to present to you Team Labor. Welcome to the launch of the Antigua and Barbuda Labor Party. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kendra Biza, representing Barbuda. Welcome Dr. Fillmore Mulling, Dr. Fillmore Benjamin, representing St. Mary's North. Kiz Johnson, St. Philip's South. Michael Freeland, St. George. Lamin Newton, All Saints East and St. Luke. Michael Joseph, St. John's Rural West. Dwayne George, St. Mary's South. Randy Baltimore, St. Philip's North. Rowden Turner, St. Peter. Anthony Smith, All Saints West. Darrell Matthew, St. John's Rural South. Maria Brown, St. John's Rural East. Melford Nicholas, St. John's City East. Henry Charles Fernandez, St. John's Rural North. E.P. Chet Green, St. Paul. Stedroy Q.T. Benjamin, St. John's City South. And from St. John's City West, Prime Minister and leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, Prime Minister Gaston A. Brown. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Team Labour. Ask you at this time to remain standing for the playing of the national anthem of Antigua and Barbuda. I invite Pastor Colin James to lead us in prayer.
Good morning, everyone. If you are physically able to stand, can I ask that you just stand briefly as we invoke God's presence? Oh God and our Father, we give you thanks. Father, we thank you first for the gift of life, for waking us up this morning, for the beautiful sunshine, the air that we breathe, the fact that we had something to eat, oh God, we are so grateful. We thank you that you have put us in a beautiful country, the nation of Antigua and Barbuda, and you have kept us safe and you have preserved us all these years, oh God. We ask that you continue to bless this nation. Father, we pray that you will bless our going out and our coming in. You'll bless us in the country, you'll bless us in the field, you'll bless us in the city, and that this nation will be a shining beacon, oh God, of your goodness and your grace. Your word commands us that we should pray for those in leadership and in authority. So we lift up our Prime Minister, we lift up the Cabinet, we lift up every member on this platform, oh God, before you today. Every permanent secretary, every leader of every statutory corporation, oh God, we lift them up before you for your wisdom and for your guidance and for your creativity. Oh God, that you would pour out on them wisdom that they may make right decisions for this nation in the name of Jesus. We pray, oh God, for a peaceable election. Lord God, we declare that there'll be no violence, there'll be no fighting, there'll be no killing, no loss of life, oh God, that your peace will reign over our nation. Father, we come against every form of confusion and every form of setback and every plan of the enemy to bring a disrepute, and we dismantle it in the spirit in the name of Jesus. Father, we declare that Antigua and Barbuda is a blessed nation. Antigua and Barbuda is above and never beneath. And oh God, that when all would have been said and done, your people will go out and they'll exercise their franchise, oh God. We pray that the results will be accepted, oh God, in the name of Jesus. And we pray, Lord God, that when all would have happened and would have been said and done, we will come together as one, knowing that you are the God that preserves, you're the God that keeps, and you are the God of Antigua and Barbuda. And your word declares, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And let all God's people say, amen.
Kindly be seated. It's a pleasure for us to welcome each and every one of you to the unveiling of the document that will chart the course of Antigua and Barbuda for the next 10 years, that will chart the renaissance of Antigua and Barbuda, entering into a new era of progress and prosperity. It's my pleasure at this time to invite to the podium the candidate for St. John's Rural North and Minister for Tourism, Civil Aviation, Transport and Investment, Charles Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Merchant. And by the way, before I start, I just wanted to let you know that the pastor is also the CEO of the Tourism Authority. So we don't only work hard, we pray hard. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to acknowledge the Honorable Prime Minister and to observe the protocols already established. It is my distinct honor to welcome you all here today as we gather for the launch of a transformative document, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party's election manifesto. Renaissance, a new era of progress and prosperity. Tourism will be the driving force behind the Renaissance. Let me state this plainly. Tourism is not merely an industry in Antigua and Barbuda. It is the lifeblood of our economy. It is the engine of growth, the foundation of thousands of livelihoods, and one of the strongest pillars supporting our national development. Over the past decade, and especially in the post-pandemic recovery period, our tourism sector demonstrated extraordinary resilience. Visitor arrivals by both air and sea have rebounded strongly, with our country not only recovering lost ground, but in many instances surpassing pre-pandemic performance. This did not happen by chance. It is the result of deliberate leadership, strategic investment, and a clear forward-looking vision for our nation. We have expanded our airlift, strengthened our hotel and accommodation offerings, modernized our cruise port, and enhanced the overall visitor's experience. Today, Antigua and Barbuda stands proudly as one of the Caribbean's premier destinations. We have seen record-breaking tourism arrivals by both air and sea. For the month of February alone, for example, we saw over 35,000 passengers arriving in Antigua in just 1 month by air. In cruise, we've already welcomed over 800,000 cruise passengers for the season thus far. Those are not small numbers. Those are powerful indicators of the confidence in Antigua and Barbuda. They reflect the growing global appeal of our destination and the strength of the product we continue to build and improve. And of course, when tourism grows, Antigua and Barbuda grows. Because tourism is not abstract concept. It is jobs for our people, it is income for our families, it is opportunity for entrepreneurs. It is the taxi driver, the hotel worker, the tour guide, the restaurant owner, and the vendor, whose livelihoods depend on this sector every single day. That is why this government has treated tourism not as an afterthought, but as a central pillar of national transformation. We are not managing decline, we are building expansion. We are not reacting to change, we're shaping it. And we are not standing still. We are moving forward with purpose and conviction. This is the Renaissance. Ladies and gentlemen, as we launch this manifesto, we are proud to say that this progress is backed by real, tangible investment, unprecedented in scale and impact. Major projects are already on the way, and these include the US $465 million one and only development at Half Moon Bay, creating hundreds of construction jobs and long-term employment opportunities. The $40 million Buccaneer Beach project, the launch of residential sales for the US $400 million Nikki Beach residences. Significant investment by Nobu with over $70 million already committed and more to come. A new Marriott hotel at Yepton Beach, the renovation of the Jolly Beach Resort, the $55 million upgrade of the VC Bird International Airport, a $40 million waterfront development, and a $23 million local brewery venture. But it doesn't stop there. The Eddie Caron Hotel Limited Long Bay development is set to break ground in May of this year. That's next month. La Mira Estate, the luxury residential development in Willoughby Bay, is now in phase 1, with 10 of 44 units already under construction. Together, these represent approximately $1.5 billion with a B US dollar investment over the next 24 to 36 months. This is what the Renaissance means in practice. More construction jobs, more permanent employment, more opportunities for local businesses, and a wider base of earnings and enterprise across our economy. Friends, we have also transformed our cruise tourism product. Today, our port can accommodate up to 5 of the world's largest cruise ships at the same time, bringing thousands of visitors daily to our shores and creating income and opportunity for our people. Cruise traffic has grown dramatically, from just over 500,000 passengers in 2013 to well over 1 million passengers today. But let me be clear, our vision is not tourism for tourism's sake. It is tourism for jobs, tourism for earnings, tourism for enterprise, tourism for ownership and opportunity for our people, the people of Antigua and Barbuda. We are also positioning our country as a premier destination for global events and conferences. Antigua and Barbuda is now a recognized hub for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. The MICE market. We have successfully hosted major international gatherings, and in 2026, we have and will host again the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association Marketplace meeting right here next month. And we'll once again welcome world leaders for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in November. And that's just 2 of the MICE market events that we will be hosting this year. These events do more than fill hotel rooms. They elevate our global profile, strengthen our diplomacy, support small businesses, and expand economic activity year-round. This is diversification. This is resilience. This is smart, forward-thinking development. Friends, beyond the statistics and the investments, what matters most is this: our people are benefiting. We are ensuring that the gains from tourism are not concentrated in a few places, but are shared across communities throughout this country. Because development must be inclusive, or it is not development at all. And we look ahead, and as we look ahead, this manifesto makes one thing abundantly clear. The future of tourism in Antigua and Barbuda will be more diversified, more resilient, and more closely linked to local benefit. Let it be known that we are building an industry that is sustainable, an industry that embraces innovation, an industry that can withstand global uncertainty, and an industry that continues to create real opportunities for our people. The progress we see today is the result of decisive governance, sound planning, and an unwavering commitment to national advancement. We built momentum, we have restored confidence, and we have delivered the results. Because of strong leadership, our economy is strong. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, you will hear from the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown, who will outline the broader vision contained within this manifesto, Renaissance, a new era of progress and prosperity. I encourage you to listen closely, because what is being presented is not just a plan, it's a pathway to sustained growth, resilience, and opportunity for every citizen. As we move forward, let us remember this. Tourism has brought us this far, but vision will take us further. Leadership has brought us stability, but unity will take us higher. And investment has brought us growth, but our people will secure our future. So this morning, as we launch this manifesto, we celebrate how far we have come, but more importantly, we recommit ourselves to where we're going, towards a new era of progress and prosperity, towards a future that is stronger, towards a future that is more inclusive, and a future that ensures Antigua and Barbuda remains not just a destination of choice, but a nation of opportunity. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you all, and may God bless our Antigua and Barbuda.
Ladies and gentlemen, the foundation of the Renaissance. Join with me at this time, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the podium the representative for St. John's Rural East and Minister for Works and Housing, Maria Brown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Merchant. A blessed good morning to everyone. God is good. Please permit me to acknowledge our esteemed Prime Minister, Comrade Leader, and adopt the protocols that are already established. It is truly a privilege to join you today as we reflect on the progress of our nation and the path ahead toward a stronger, more prosperous Antigua and Barbuda. This morning is not just the launch of an election manifesto. This morning is the launch of the next chapter in the transformation of our nation. The Renaissance, a new era of progress and prosperity for all. I stand before you humbled by the responsibility that was entrusted unto me and proud of what we have achieved together. Our accomplishments in housing and infrastructure works are not theoretical. They're not mere promises. They are tangible progress you can see. Progress you can drive on, and progress you can call home. Across this country, from our busiest highways to our smallest communities, we have taken decisive action to rebuild and modernize our road network. We have invested significantly in critical roads, to include Sir George Walter Highway, Fries Hill Road, Old Parham Road, the Anchorage Road, Valley Road North, and Sir Sidney Walling Highway. And that is not all. Our extensive roadworks program has already reached communities across this nation, bringing relief, improving safety, and restoring pride. Now, comrades and friends, although we know much has been achieved, we are mindful that much is still to be done. A loan of $100 million is already secured to continue the redevelopment of All Saints Road and rehabilitate roads and drains nationwide, the first drawdown of which will be accessed within a matter of weeks. Because in this renaissance, roads are not cosmetic. We are mindful that they are economic lifelines. They reduce costs, improve safety, support business, and connect opportunity to every doorstep. But my friends, roads alone do not build a nation. Homes also do. And we believe that housing is not a privilege, it is a right. It is a foundation of dignity, a platform for opportunity, and a pathway to generational wealth. And that is why this government has led what we have coined the housing revolution. We have already built more homes than any other government in Antigua and Barbuda. And guess what? We're just getting started. In 2026, we will deliver at least 120 new homes through the Central Housing and Planning Authority in Bowlands, Glanvilles, and North Sound. National Housing and Urban Renewal Development Company will add another 150 homes. The Booby Alley project will be completed, transforming lives and uplifting an entire community. A significant boost to community development will come with a new housing project scheduled for launch later this year in the St. Johnson's Village. A project that will be undertaken by the Central Housing and Planning Authority after the Clearview Hospital would have moved to its new location in Seaview Farm. In addition to this, the National Housing Authority is expected to commence new housing developments in the Cedar Valley and 20 Hill communities later this year, further expanding access to affordable housing and strengthening community growth. We will expand into Barbuda and Bowlands with new condominium social housing developments, quite like Booby Alley. We will continue to expand the Happy program, ensuring that the most vulnerable can repair, improve, and secure their homes. Because housing, our housing policy, must meet our people where they are. We're not just building houses, we're building communities. Communities with proper roads, drainage, sidewalks, lighting, and green spaces for you to enjoy. Communities designed for safety, accessibility, and inclusion. Communities where our children can grow, where our businesses can thrive, and families can live with pride. We are ensuring that our developments are inclusive, featuring ramps, wider doorways, safer layouts, because every citizen deserves to live with dignity and independence. We're not stopping there, though. We're going further. We are introducing a rent-to-own housing program so that our hard-working families who may not yet qualify for a mortgage can still take their first step toward ownership. So, they will rent affordably, they will build equity, and they will own their future. Exciting times. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also expanding access to land. because land ownership must not be out of the reach of ordinary people. At Mac Pond in All Saints, 50 acres are being made available. 35 acres will provide affordable residential plots with flexible, long-term payment options designed for our working people. And the remaining land will regularize tenure, giving families security on land that they have called home for generations. Friends, this is what fairness looks like. This is what empowerment feels like. We are strengthening support for those in need, expanding repair grants, improving sanitation, and upgrading homes for our vulnerable families. Because under the Antiguan Barbuda Labour Party, no one must be left behind. My friends, what we are building is bigger than infrastructure. It is bigger than housing. We are building stability. We are building ownership. We're building a future where every Antiguan and Barbudan has a fair chance to succeed. This is the Renaissance. A vision where more roads will be built, more homes will be delivered, and more communities will rise, stronger, safer, and more connected than ever before. And let me say clearly this morning, we're not guessing. We're not experimenting. We are expanding a system that is already working. The proof is in the pudding, isn't it? This is the Renaissance. So, as we move forward, I ask that you continue to stand with us. Stand for progress, stand for opportunity, stand for a future where every family can say, this is our home, this is our country, this is our future. Thank you very much. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless Antigua and Barbuda.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the podium the candidate for St. John's Rural West and Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and the Environment, Michael Joseph.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremony, Mr. Merchant. Good morning to everyone. Please permit me to acknowledge our comrade leader, the Honorable Gaston Brown, and to adopt the protocols as previously established. Let me also begin by saying how deeply honored I am to stand before you this morning as the former Minister of State in the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and the Environment, and a proud son of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, a movement that has always believed that governance is not about privilege, but about service, not about power, but about people. I want to begin with a simple word, a dream. Because every nation that has ever progressed, every people that ever risen, first dared to dream beyond their circumstances. And this morning, I speak not just about dreams in the abstract, but of a living, breathing national aspiration, a healthier people, a stronger environment, and a brighter future for every Antiguan and Barbudan. In a moment, we will hear the powerful classic, "To Dream the Impossible Dream," and I want to frame that performance for you this morning, placing it into context of the new era of progress and prosperity, the Renaissance. This is not just a song, it is a challenge. It is a call to courage. It is a reminder that real leadership is not measured by ease, but by endurance, not by comfort, but by conviction. As you listen, I want you to hear the message clearly. Keep going when it is difficult. Stand firm when it is unpopular, and believe when others doubt. Because that is exactly the spirit in which we govern, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, Gaston Brown. And yes, leadership does matter. Ladies and gentlemen, in health, we are not simply managing a system, we are transforming it. We are strengthening primary health care so that no citizen is left behind because of geography or circumstance. We are improving access, modernizing services, and building resilience into our hospitals and our clinics, both public and private, in order to respond to everyday needs and extraordinary challenges. We are currently placing greater emphasis on preventative care, on fighting non-communicable diseases, on mental health awareness, and on community wellness, because a healthy nation is not built on hospitals alone, but in the home, in the schools, and in the communities. Have no doubt that this government believes that health care is not a privilege for a few, but it is a right for every citizen of Antigua and Barbuda. At the same time, we are confronting one of the greatest existential threats. We are confronting climate change. As a small island state, we do not debate whether climate change is real. We live its reality. Rising temperatures, changing weather patterns, coastal vulnerability, these are not distant projections. These are present realities. That is why our environmental agenda is focused on action, strengthening climate resilience, protecting our marine ecosystem, improving waste management systems, and moving towards a more sustainable and forward-thinking development practices. We are building not just infrastructure, but resilient infrastructure. Not just policies, but sustainable progress. Not promises, but delivery. And I say this without hesitation. Antigua and Barbuda is not waiting on the world to act. We are doing our part, and we are leading where we can. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year and 5 months ago, the Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown appointed me to the Senate of Antigua and Barbuda as a Minister of State. Now the question is often asked, why me? Why Michael Joseph? Why a young minister? And the answer is simple, because our government understands something fundamental. The future cannot be built without the youth of this nation at the table. We believe leadership that reflects the people, leadership that combines experience with energy, wisdom with innovation, and tradition with transformation. That is the strength of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. It is not static, it evolves, it renews, it empowers. I stand here as part of a generation that is not waiting for change. We are participating in it. Not watching history, we're helping to write it. And so today is bigger than just one speech. It is about national direction. It is about a government that is investing in health because it values life. A government that is protecting environment because it values future generations. And a government that is empowering young leaders because it believes in continuity, stability, and renewal. So when we speak of the impossible dream, let us be honest. Every great achievement once seemed impossible. Universal access to health care once seemed impossible. A resilient climate strategy for a small island state once seemed impossible. A generation of young leaders stepping forward into responsibility once seemed impossible. But here we are, making it real, step by step, policy by policy, and action by action. Friends, this is the Renaissance, the new era of progress and prosperity. This is the message I leave with you today. Do not underestimate what a united people, guided by purpose and driven by vision, can achieve. So as we now prepare to hear the vision of the Antigua and Barbuda through the Honorable Prime Minister, I urge you to listen, to dream the impossible dream. And I ask you to do something simple but powerful, to reflect. Reflect on how far we've come. Reflect on the work still ahead to be done. And reflect on your role in building Antigua and Barbuda, as we all deserve to participate in the Renaissance. Because dreams are not fulfilled by spectators. They're fulfilled by believers, by builders, by those willing to serve. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Antigua and Barbuda. And may we continue to come together to dream and to achieve a new era of progress and prosperity for the Renaissance. Thank you.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar. to try when your arms are too weary and to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, then my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this. That one man scorned and covered with scars, who with his last ounce of courage, if I can reach the impossible, the unreachable, the unreachable star. Yes, I always dream the impossible dream. Yes, I will reach the unreachable star.
Jashan Hughes and Dana Barnes. Join me in welcoming the candidate for the constituency of St. Paul and chairman of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. E.P. Chet Green.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished members of the business community, heads of statutory bodies and public institutions, colleagues of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, the nation's foremost political institution. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. We gather today at an important and serious moment in the life of our nation. We are here not merely to launch a document, but to present to the people of Antigua and Barbuda a program for the future. Our party's manifesto is grounded in tested leadership, proven delivery, and a very clear vision of the next stage of our national development. It is more than a policy document. Today we present to you a covenant with the people of Antigua and Barbuda. A covenant built on a record of delivery and a clear understanding of the world in which we live. This is not a time for gambling. This is not a time for experiment. It is a time to choose. A time to choose steadiness, judgment, and leadership that has already proved itself under pressure. Over the past decade, the Antiguans Barbudans Party has led this country through some of the most difficult global conditions in modern times. We have faced economic instability, external shocks, the devastation of the pandemic, and the pressures created by conflicts in Europe and the Middle East, all of which have raised costs, disrupted supply chains, and affected economies worldwide. Yet, Antiguans Barbuda, our fair Antiguans Barbuda, we did not lose our way. We moved forward. That did not happen by chance. It happened because there was leadership at the center of government that understood the economy, understood the world, and understood the duty to protect the people. Let me say this with absolute clarity this morning. At the center of that leadership has been the Honorable Gaston Alfonso Brown. His prudent financial stewardship of the nation's affairs, his very disciplined management of the economy, and his determined leadership of the government has helped to move Antiguans Barbuda from debt and uncertainty to confidence, growth, and expanding opportunity. Where in the past others passed the burden to the people, Gaston Brown protected the people. Where others faltered, the Antiguans Barbudans Party held the course. That is leadership in action. So the question before the nation today is not about who can make noise or who can sit and criticize from the sidelines. The real question is, who has shown the capacity to govern? Who has demonstrated the discipline to manage difficult times? And who has delivered for the people? The answer is pellucid. The answer is clear. And the manifesto being launched this morning is not a collection of empty promises. It's a practical program of national advancement, a very serious document for serious time, built on record, strengthened by experience, and directed to the future. That is why the Antiguans Barbudans Party has chosen the theme, the Renaissance, a new era for Antigua and Barbuda. It is a declaration that the country is ready to move to an even higher level of achievement. Achievement with a strong economy, wider opportunity, safer communities, greater national confidence. What you will hear this morning and what you will read in your personal copies is not theory. It is a continuation of a record and the direction of a country moving forward. With all being said, it is now my distinct honor to invite you, first of all, to join me by standing as I invite to the podium to address us the leader of the Antiguans Barbudans Party and the leader of Antiguans Barbuda, the man whose stewardship has helped to guide this nation through difficult and to position us for an era of progress and prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, with distinct honor and pleasure, I present to you our political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Gaston Alfonso Brown.
Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the diplomatic corps and certainly the distinguished members of the business community, the heads of statutory organizations, and of course, all of the distinguished comrades and friends who are present here this morning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we gather not merely to launch a document, but to mark a defining moment in the life of our nation. We stand at a point of reflection and certainly a point of decision. And above all, a point of possibility and opportunity. Today, the Antiguan Barbudans Labour Party places before the people of this country its manifesto for the 2026 general elections. And the manifesto is not a catalogue of promises, but a covenant with the people, grounded in delivery, shaped by experience, and directed to the future. At the heart of that covenant is a single unifying vision, the Renaissance, a new era of progress and development for Antigua and Barbuda. What we mean by the Renaissance is that the Renaissance is not a slogan. It is not a phrase for a campaign. It is not a promise of election giveaways or vague change. The Renaissance is a declaration of national intent. It reflects a people who have endured myriad challenges, but have proven their strength and are now rising to a higher level of performance and achievement. And let me make it abundantly clear that we're not starting over. We're not turning back. We are rising upward and forward. It is a new era of prosperity, inclusivity, and dignity, of wider opportunity and deeper national pride in which development is shared by all. We stand on a record of strong performance, proven in adversity. We come before you and the nation not asking for trust based on words alone. We come with a strong commitment and a record of stellar performance. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party has proven time and time again that it has the courage, the leadership capacity, and the competence to steer this country through adversity. We have navigated global turbulences, including the COVID-19 pandemic and repeated hurricane devastations. But on each occasion, we have stabilized our economy and built back our economy bigger and better. We have restored confidence, and we have done so while cushioning our people from the harshest impacts of forces beyond our shores. We have consistently brought the ship of state safely from crises to stability and from stability to growth. That is not rhetoric. That is leadership proven in action. And let me share the contrast then and now, because I believe that it is important for you to make the comparison so that you can determine precisely and intelligently which organization is working in your best interests. And I say here, let us not forget from whence we came. And let me remind you that in 2014, this nation was left burdened by astronomical debt, significant arrears in payments, high unemployment, crime and violence, including rampant rapes and disorder in general. The then UPP administration could not manage. In fact, the entire police hierarchy was replaced, or collectively was replaced by Canadian Mounted Police. Lest you forget. Yet, the Mounties failed to bring crime and violence under control. However, it took my administration to address that issue and to bring crime and violence under control. But what is interesting about it is that we did so using local talent, local Antiguans and Barbudans to drive down crime and violence, to the extent
that we enjoy one of the safest environments in the region and beyond. And let me also remind you that debt exceeded 104% of GDP back in 2014, which we have since reduced to 61%, in keeping with the international debt to GDP benchmark of 60%. So you can make the determination who is working for your development. Now let me also remind you that for decades, previous administrations borrowed heavily to function. Even to pay salaries and wages, they have had to borrow to pay salaries and wages. Public institutions were strained. Confidence was weak. Opportunity was limited. And there was a significant decay in public infrastructure to include water, roads, and buildings. That was the reality that we inherited. So when you see the bad roads and the broken infrastructure, we inherited all of that. But the reality is we are fixing the broken infrastructure, and we have made significant progress repairing and expanding our country's physical infrastructure. Any objective person will conclude that we have made significant progress since 2014. Today, our country's fiscal performance has improved to the extent that we now have recurring fiscal surpluses in the amounts of hundreds of millions of dollars. It has never happened before. Our buoyant economy has created thousands of jobs, and there has been annual increases in personal savings up to $250 million in a single calendar year, $250 million. In other words, our people are getting wealthier with a per capita income in excess of $22,000 per head. And let me remind you too, that our country currently ranks #1 on the United Nations Human Development Index. That did not come by chance. My dear countrymen and countrywomen, as we contrast then and now, we must also be honest about the choices that were made by our predecessor, the UPP administration. The UPP's entrenched cultural instinct was to burden our people. Recall when they told you to tighten your belts? My administration never asked you to tighten your belts, not even during COVID. Their instinct is to burden the people with their incompetence, their corruption, to retrench public servants, to impose income taxes and other stringent taxes, and to surrender national policy to external conditionalities. Lest you forget that our country was on an IMF program and was scheduled to enter into a stringent IMF program. However, when we came in 2014, we said to the IMF, on your bike. So they collapsed the economy. They reduce opportunity, they increase unemployment, and they damage confidence. And I said that there is no reason to believe that those UPP entrenched cultural instincts have changed. In fact, I say to you that they have not changed. It would be a travesty for our people to entrust the governance of this country to endanger our renaissance by placing the governance of our country into the hands of divided incompetents who are seeking individual wealth and status at the expense of our people. They're not seeking to serve you. They want power to exploit you. And let me tell you why this election matters. My distinguished countrymen and countrywomen, in these uncertain global times, the future of Antigua and Barbuda cannot be left to chance, and certainly should not be left to cannibalistic failures, underachievers, losers, and laggards. Our people deserve a government that is tried, tested, and proven. A government that understands the world. A government that has individuals with the competence to sit with any president or prime minister in the world. You know that I can sit with King Charles, I can sit with Trump, I can sit with any leader on this planet and to represent this country with distinction. But guess what? Pringle cannot even sit with local leaders, much less regional leaders. I say to you that our government will be one, or continue to be one, of discipline. And I said to you too that we want to make sure that we get a strong mandate. And that is the context in which we have called this election. We don't want to be in a situation in which we have to deal with these global challenges and that we have to look behind our backs preparing for an election. So we have come to you early to get a strong mandate so that we can provide you with strong global representation. So we do so not for convenience, but for clarity, not for politics, but for your future. And I say here, we do so for the government to fight strongly for the nation. Our nation must have a strong government supported strongly by our people. That is the mandate that we seek, to represent the people, backed fully by the people, for the exclusive benefit of you, the people. And let me speak about protecting our people in a changing world. My fellow citizens, we must also speak honestly about the pressures that families are facing in their daily lives. And by the way, we are not saying that everything is fine and dandy. We know that there are challenges. But the reality is things are getting better and will get even better. The world has changed. The wars in Europe and the Middle East have disrupted global supply chains, increased the cost of fuel and energy, raised shipping and insurance costs, and have driven up prices across the world. Small states like ours do not create these conditions, but we suffer disproportionately from them. Therefore, we must respond to them. And your ABLP administration has done exactly that. We have acted deliberately to protect our people from the worst effects of these external shocks. We absorbed increases in the cost of fuel, diesel, LPG to shield households and businesses. In fact, I'll state here that every gallon of diesel that is purchased today is subsidized by my administration to the tune of about $3 per gallon. So if you purchase 10 gallons, our government is giving you a gift of $30. That's the nature of our administration, to go the extra mile to protect our people. You look right through the Caribbean. Petroleum prices, LPG prices are rising. We have kept them stable to protect you. We have reduced the burden of ABST on essential goods. We have supported transport operators and commuters through targeted assistance. And as I spoke about the ABST and controlling prices, eliminating the ABST on essential goods, I'll say to you, we are not subsidizing Wagyu meats and caviar. So if the UPP wants to go that route to subsidize caviar and expensive meats, that's their problem. We're here to support you, the masses. Those who want to eat caviar and Wagyu meats, they must do so at their own expense. We have maintained relief on basic food items and continued to suspend duties on selected essential goods to keep prices within reach. And let me tell you, those essential goods, they are more beneficial to your health. So don't be jealous of anyone with the caviar and the Wagyu. We have strengthened food supply arrangements, including partnerships within our region to improve availability and affordability. We have raised the wages and salaries of public servants and increased the national minimum wage to $11.50 per hour. And it will not stop there. And we have done all of this while maintaining economic stability and continued robust growth and development. That is the difference that a fiscally responsible and competent government makes. You know, anyone can promise anything, but can they deliver? And whereas they are seeking to promise us out of government, the reality is they will destroy this country with their incompetence and their irresponsible promises. So take your pick. Because in as much as we have given consistent increases to public servants, we have said to our negotiating team that the additional increase that they give to public servants should be set at the maximum possible rate without destroying the economy. So we will not play this war of giveaways and to say, well, UPP promised 3,000, give them 4,000, and then what happens? You destroy the public sector and the private sector, so then you increase salaries and wages to the extent that not even private sector employers can afford to pay their employees. That is irresponsible politics, and we will not play that game. Now, as we move into the Renaissance, we will continue to take practical steps to ensure that the cost of living remains manageable for our people. Whatever needs to be done will be done. We will maintain our policy of no personal income tax. That is a strong philosophical position of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. And it is proven that taxing direct income of individuals is a disincentive. And that is one of the reasons why our economy is so buoyant, because of our tax policy of eliminating personal income tax, thereby increasing the disposable incomes of our people, especially the middle class. We will resist any increases in ABST. So we are not coming here to make outlandish promises and then to increase taxes. So there will be tax stability going into our new term. We will continue targeted relief on essential goods and basic household items. We will continue to support subsidies on fuel, LPG, and electricity. We will use prudent fiscal management to reduce the impact of imported inflation. Evidently, we will continue to ensure that growth is not something people only hear about, but something they feel in their pay packet, in their pension book, and certainly at the kitchen table. And we do so because in the Renaissance, economic policy is not abstract. It is about protecting people, supporting families, and ensuring that no one is left to bear the global burdens alone. Our manifesto is a serious document for a serious time. This manifesto sets out the Renaissance. It is not a list of wild, unsustainable promises to dupe our people. We stand on the truth always. It is a program for national advancement and resilient prosperity. And it begins with clear, practical commitments to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. As I said before, no personal income tax. Responsible fiscal management will continue. We'll continue to ensure that we preside over rising wages, expanded opportunity for all, and certainly the minimum wage, which has already increased to $11.50, will be further increased to $13 per hour. And I'll add here too, because the hotel sector is our most significant driver of economic development, there will be a special minimum wage or livable wage for hotel workers. And you know that we are moving assiduously towards replacing the concept of a minimum wage with a livable wage. As we build this lifestyle superpower here in Antigua and Barbuda, every single citizen must have the opportunity to earn a livable wage. Employment will continue to expand under my administration. Opportunities for youth and women will deepen, and prosperity will become more inclusive and more widely shared. I say to the people of our country, read the manifesto, examine it, digest it, judge it, because it is a serious document for a serious time. We will continue to invest heavily in our people. At the center of the Renaissance are our people. We will continue to expand access to health care. We will introduce national health insurance. We'll continue free education at every level, including free university education. That's right. From September, all nationals of Antigua and Barbuda will benefit from free university. That's right. Tuition-free university access. We will widen opportunities for young people, including the expansion and broadening of the Entrepreneurial Fund. Because again, we want to make sure that we have a thriving economy. We want the young people to be the, let's say, the fulcrum of entrepreneurship in this country. We'll strengthen support for women in enterprise and leadership and generally in national life. Because the true wealth of our nation is not in numbers alone. It is in the dignity, the talent, and potential of our people. And we will certainly ensure and build prosperity that is shared. We're not building an economy for statistics. We're building an economy for our people. We will maintain high levels of employment and move toward full employment. In fact, I'll state here that if our people were not so fussy about the jobs that they do, we would have had excess employment. But based on the fact that Antiguans and Barbudans are not available for certain jobs, there's still a small level of unemployment, and we'll fix that too. So you'll get the job of your choice. We will deepen opportunity across tourism, construction, agriculture, fisheries, manufacturing, and the creative industries. We'll also expand opportunities in the blue economy, the green economy, technology, and small businesses. We will continue to support and expand youth entrepreneurship with additional programs. We will expand opportunities for women-owned enterprises. In fact, there will be a significant focus on female entrepreneurship going forward. We will empower local producers and contractors, and will continue to reduce arrears owed to them until they are cleared in full. Because in the Renaissance, prosperity must be wider, more local, and certainly more inclusive. And I now want to speak about Barbuda. Barbuda rising at the center of the Renaissance. Barbuda stands at the center of the Renaissance and is fast becoming a lifestyle superpower. We have rebuilt Barbuda bigger and better. Today, it is rising. Investment is growing, employment is expanding, air access is increasing. But Barbuda's development is more than investment. It's not just about investment. It's about the people of Barbuda. So we have actually secured in excess of $150 million in funding for Barbuda. That's right. And when I say secured, money's already pledged by the Caribbean Development Bank. We have an excess of about $20 million on the airport loan that's going to the Barbuda Airport Development. So we have a significant amount of funding that will be utilized starting within a matter of weeks to invest in the road infrastructure in Barbuda, renewable energy, airport expansion, and construction of new housing, a new secondary school, among others. So Barbuda is not merely recovering. Barbuda, as I said before, is rising. And Barbuda will continue to shine under our leadership. I now turn to the issue of modern infrastructure and national development. Throughout Antigua and Barbuda, we'll continue with intensity to invest in water, roads, housing, and digital transformation. Distinguished Minister of Housing would have spoken about the expansion of the road network. And I know that there are many communities in this country that continue to have dilapidated roads. They will be fixed. We have the resources, and we will continue, even after the elections, with intensity to fix every single road in this country. And the water problem as well. Again, I want to thank Minister Melvin Nicholas and his team at the APUA for the job that they've done in delivering water to our people. There are still gaps, and I continue to ask for your patience. You know, for a small island state to raise a few $100 million to invest in the water infrastructure, it's not an easy task. No other administration in the past have been able to invest even $20 million in the water infrastructure. If I'm exaggerating, not even 50 million. We have invested over 250 million. It's the only administration that has taken this water problem seriously. And when you consider that we have not had a decent shower of rain within the last 6 months or more, just imagine if we didn't build up the water capacity to 11 million gallons a day. Just imagine where we would be today. So I say to those of you who may still be experiencing some frustration with the delivery of water services, be patient. Because we have yet another water plant that we have paid for. A 3 million gallon a day water plant that will be installed by the end of this year, which will then bring our capacity to 14 million gallons a day. Again, I repeat, no other administration would have addressed these issues, and to do so concurrently, it shows a commitment of my administration. So we will also concurrently pursue the piping and repiping of communities to make sure that we deliver clean, potable water to our people. We also intend to modernize our capital city, St. John's. We'll continue to work in meaningful partnerships with the business community and the tourism industry to beautify the city, not only as an attraction for tourists, but as a source of pride for our nation. We will also strengthen road infrastructure across our nation, as discussed before. These are not promises made in abstract. They are work in progress. And that is what is important. You can see the work in progress, and therefore patience is required. It's pointless to say that, oh, my road is bad. We're getting there. And in the unlikely event the government was to change, you still have to wait to get your roads fixed, because all of the roads cannot be fixed at the same time. But the reality is, one thing you do know is that the administration that has the competence to resolve the water and road problems is the Gaston Brown administration. So there can be no other viable hope to resolve those issues other than to support the Gaston Brown administration. So we have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to improve and to expand our road infrastructure, to include Sir George, Walter Highway, Friesel Road, Old Parham Road, Anchorage Road, Valley Road North, and Sir Sidney Walling Highway. Roadworks have also been carried out across communities throughout the entire country. There's not a single constituency that is not benefiting from significant roadworks. Every single constituency is currently benefiting. And that is why I said those who have not gotten their roads fixed as yet, be patient. We're coming, and we certainly will get there. The $100 million road bond will be utilized to secure the redevelopment of All Saints Road and other roads as we continue the road rehabilitation program nationwide. So you can see we have money. We haven't drawn a cent from it as yet. So you can't say that, should you vote for the Labour Party, that the roadworks will stop because they don't have any money or they wouldn't allocate additional monies. We have $100 million that was approved by the commercial banks last year. And we're so committed that we're using monies from the Treasury even before we touch $100 million. So we have $100 million to spend on roads. So When we speak of strengthening infrastructure, we speak not only of what we intend to do, but of what we have already begun and what we'll continue to implement. And that is why it's important for every single Antiguan Barbudan to stay the course with my administration, because you can see the work in progress. We are determined to build the next great chapter of national development with intensity and skill. Antigua and Barbuda will become a country stronger in its economy, fairer in opportunity, clearer, safer, more beautiful, more confident. I say here that we will also protect our vital national resources. In the context of all these developments, let me say this. Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party has operated the Citizenship by Investment program since 2014. There have been those who have criticized the program and called for its termination. But let us speak plainly about the facts. Since its establishment, the program has generated more than $1.4 billion in non-tax revenues for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Let me repeat, 1.4 B, not mil, B, billion dollars in 11 years. So that is real, measurable income. It is real support for the nation. It has helped to finance pensions, healthcare, education, scholarships, public safety, water, roads, and housing. And it has done so while helping to spare our people the burden of personal income tax and other heavier taxation. That is the reality. So, if you want to give up $1.4 billion in revenues and pay $1.4 billion in taxes on another administration, well, take your pick. Those who call for the program to be abolished have a duty to tell the country what they will do instead. Tell us where this compensatory revenue will come from. It's not enough just to condemn it. They must say plainly what taxes would they impose, what services would they cut, what development they would postpone. And they must also say how they will replace the thousands of direct and indirect jobs generated by this sector. Are you telling me that all of the dozens of high-paying persons at the CIU unit, that they should be sent home? Are you saying that those who have all these CIP supported projects, that they should be closed and the workers should be sent home? Let us be clear. No responsible government dismantles a major source of national revenue without a credible alternative. Let me therefore make the position of my government absolutely clear. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party administration will not be reckless in dismantling a program that has supported the people of this country and would have strengthened the national economy. It will not happen under my leadership. To the contrary, we will continue to defend it, we'll continue to strengthen it, and we'll continue to regulate it properly in the national interest and the shared security interests of Antigua and Barbuda and our international partners. My dear people, security, youth, and national responsibility, I want to speak on these issues plainly. Crime and violence, especially among young people, clearly they are unacceptable. The Renaissance will have no tolerance, zero tolerance for criminals who are involved in gangs, narcotics trafficking, gun violence, and domestic violence. We must protect our women and our girls. So I will add here that the laws will be further strengthened. And those who threaten our nation's stability and security will face the full force of the law. We are investing heavily in policing, in border protection, surveillance, and maritime security. Additional resources are being deployed. Capabilities are being strengthened, because the Renaissance must be not only about prosperity, but our safety, and it must be fair and free. But we also say this: with a myriad of educational skills training and employment opportunities available, there can be no excuse to pursue a life of crime and violence. And to our young people, I say to you that there is a better road. And we will make that road wider, so choose wisely. To the women of Antigua and Barbuda, you will be central to this renaissance, because no nation can rise if its women are left behind. And I say to all of us, especially our men, empower our women and treat them with respect. The ABLP has already demonstrated its unwavering commitment to women, who now hold the most senior positions in the public service, in the banks, and increasingly in the business community. That is a foundation in which we'll continue to build until women are accorded equality to men in all fields of endeavor, including, and I want you all to listen to me carefully, especially the women, support your fellow women, including in the House of Representatives. And let me make this clarion call. You have two young, bright ladies in our team. Kiz Johnson and Marie Brown. And I say to each of you present at this conference, and to everyone listening via the various media, that as a priority, these two individuals should be in our parliament after the next general elections. Because if we are serious about empowering our women, we cannot leave them out of the highest decision-making authority. If we are serious about the empowerment of our women, we must support them and to ensure that they too can serve in the Parliament of Antigua and Barbuda. And I see Comrade Kiz Johnson and Comrade Marie Brown as the trailblazers for more women to serve in the Parliament of Antigua and Barbuda. So let this be part of the renaissance to make sure that certainly with our team, that there's 100% support that they both get elected as representatives in the Lower House. My distinguished countrymen and countrywomen, a nation respected in the world, a small nation respected globally, that is Antigua and Barbuda. We will continue to ensure that Antigua and Barbuda speaks with strength in the international community. We may be small in size, but you know that under my leadership, we will never be small in voice. Again, I say to you, you put a timid man, incompetent man like Pringle out there, you will not have a small voice, you will have no voice. Now let me make the point here that we have already shown our capacity to lead international efforts and to play a meaningful role in international life. We'll continue to act with courage and conviction, particularly to safeguard the interests of small states such as ours. Our voice will never be stilled in the quest for social, economic, and climate justice. We will never tremble in fear when truth and justice and right is on our side. We shall continue to stand for truth, for justice, for peace, for right without fear of reprisal. What is my name? Gassy Dread. Standing on the truth, standing tall, and that shall continue. My dear people, I tell you what the Renaissance will mean. The Renaissance will mean more and better jobs, greater educational opportunities, delivery of advanced healthcare services, increased food security, safer communities, more housing, and overall more opportunities for our people. But more than that, you know, I don't want Antiguans and Barbudans to be a timid people. It will mean confidence, confidence in the future, confidence in opportunity, confidence in ourselves. A nation strong in spirit, proud in identity, and unified in purpose. In closing, my distinguished countrymen and countrywomen, I could not, in this presentation, remark on the full content of a manifesto, which incidentally is 103 pages long. I have highlighted only parts of it in the interest of time. We place our manifesto before you, not only as a political commitment, but as a compact with you, the people, and a program of national development. It is a practical roadmap and a plan for the future. It is grounded in practical projects and programs for delivery, strengthened by experience, and directed to better quality lives for you, the people. I say to you to read it carefully, consider it seriously, digest it, and judge it fairly. My distinguished countrymen and countrywomen, this election is not about going back. It is about going forward and higher. So I call upon you to join us, to support us, to vote for us, to make sure that we protect the Renaissance. Let us rise together. Let us build together. Let us protect the Renaissance. Let us continue the expansion of the Renaissance of Antigua and Barbuda with certainty, with confidence, purpose, for the benefit of all. Once again, I thank you. Much love and blessings. One love.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Another round of applause for the leader of the Antigua Labour Party and Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda for the next 5 years. Kindly be seated. Our volunteers will come to your table with a copy of that document that the Prime Minister speaks so highly of, the Manifesto. Following our engagement here, the Prime Minister will be available to sign a few of those copies, not all 400 for you assembled here today. By popular request, individuals have asked to see the videos that we presented earlier of the foundation of the Renaissance and the Renaissance in motion. While the video is being shown, the official photograph will be taken. We ask candidates to look ahead, look forward. We're waiting for Barbuda. Just step out for a brief moment. The official photograph will now be taken. Look ahead. We'll do one seated first. Team Labour, ladies and gentlemen. The team that will lead the Renaissance. An era of progress and prosperity. We'll take one standing right where you are. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Team Labour. We remind you, if you are not re-registered as yet, a few more days to go. If you have not collected your cards, you need to do so. And on the 30th of April, do the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for coming this morning to celebrate with us and to be a part of the launch of the Renaissance. And we invite you to continue enjoying the company of each other, speak with your candidates, and do have a wonderful afternoon. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The Prime Minister will be available on the far right-hand side of the building to sign the manifesto. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.